There is a rhythm moving through your life, one that cannot be rushed, forced, or controlled. Welcome to Sacred Fertility Flow. I'm Ashley Holmes, holistic fertility coach and guide, and this is a space where you're invited to return to your body, your intuition, and your divine timing. Together, we explore what it means to become fertile in mind, body, and spirit so that you can move from striving into flow. Today, we're diving into a topic that has completely transformed my own life and one that I believe has the power to transform your fertility journey as well. The title of today's episode is Meditation is Medicine for the Mind. And this is a beautiful phrase shared by my client Nuria, who said meditation is medicine. And so I have added for the mind because that is what I have found to be true in my own life and those that I've spent so many years with. And the more years that I have spent practicing, studying, teaching, and living yoga, the more I realize just how true this statement really is. Because meditation isn't simply something that we do, it becomes a way of being. And if you're listening to this while navigating infertility, secondary infertility, pregnancy loss, IVF, waiting for test results, or simply carrying the emotional weight of trying to grow your family, I want you to know this. Meditation will not guarantee pregnancy, but it can completely transform the person moving through the journey. And that changes everything. Today, we're going to explore why meditation matters on the fertility journey, what science and ancient wisdom both tell us, different forms of meditation, how to know if your practice is actually working, teachings from the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, my guru Sankara, the world master Sri J. Krishnamurti, and my mentor Manasai, and why meditation may be one of the greatest gifts you can ever give yourself. So from there, let's begin. One of the most difficult parts of the fertility struggles is that they place us into a state of chronic uncertainty. We don't know when, we don't know how, we don't know why, and the mind hates uncertainty. The mind wants answers, it wants control, it wants certainty, predictions, timelines, and the mind says, when will this happen? What if it never happens? What if I'm too late? What if something is wrong with me? What if everyone else gets what I want except me? And before we know it, we've created an entire future that doesn't exist. We're suffering not from reality itself, but from the stories we're telling ourselves about reality. And meditation helps us see this, not intellectually, experientially. For the first time, we begin observing thoughts instead of becoming them. And this distinction changes everything. I want to dive into the real purpose of meditation. Many people believe meditation is about clearing the mind. I actually think that's one of the biggest barriers to meditation. People sit down, thoughts arise, and they conclude that they're terrible at meditation. But meditation isn't about stopping thoughts, it's about changing your relationship with them. The Yoga Sutras describe yoga as Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yoga is the stilling of the fluctuations of the mind. So notice it doesn't say forcing, suppressing, fighting, controlling. The stillness emerges naturally when awareness deepens. The meditation teaches us to become the witness, the observer, the one who notices thoughts without immediately following them. And this is where freedom begins. I'm covered in goosebumps. This is one of the Yoga Sutras that this alone can simply change your life by embodying it, by stilling the fluctuations of the mind. And so this is possible. This has been shown to me by my mentors, by my guru, that the mind is what is causing all of the chaos and confusion in our lives and dysregulating our nervous system. And so we actually can move forward in a way that serves us, that has calm and presence despite the chaos. And this can become a way of being. So what happens to the nervous system? And let's talk about physiology for a moment here. Because the fertility journey often places women into prolonged sympathetic activation. There is fight, there is flight, there is hypervigilance, there's constant scanning, constant analyzing. The nervous system never fully feels safe. And meditation helps us to activate the parasympathetic nervous system. The rest and digest response, the healing response, the restoration response. We begin shifting from survival mode into a state where the body can allocate resources toward healing, digestion, hormone balance, repair, and reproduction. This doesn't mean meditation is a fertility treatment. It means meditation helps create an internal environment that supports your health and well-being. And regardless of the outcome, that is incredibly valuable. Beginning my morning with meditation before moving on into my day, before anything else, has been completely life-changing because it shifts the energy in which you begin your day with. You can start grounded, present, aware, and consciously choose the energy that you're going to intentionally move forward with. So I want to speak to some different forms of meditation for any of the people that think that they can't meditate or they've tried meditation and it's not for them. Because many people think that meditation means sitting cross-legged in silence, but it comes in many forms, so we're going to explore a few. And I personally believe there is a form of meditation for everyone where you can start, and that anybody that is breathing, so that is anyone who is alive, can meditate. And so the first one I want to speak to is a breath awareness meditation. This is simply observing the breath, not changing it, not controlling it, just noticing it. And this is often the foundation because the breath anchors us into the present moment. So you are connecting mind and body when you can bring your awareness to the breath. And recently, I was in the dentist chair and I could feel myself getting tense. I could feel a headache coming on because my whole nervous system was activated. I was becoming dysregulated. And so in that moment, what did I do? My hands were on my stomach, my mouth is open. I was like, breathe. And so I did diaphragmatic breathing. And so I would breathe in, chest, ribs, belly, and expand, and breathe out, belly, ribs, chest on the exhale. And I could just feel after a few rounds a state of calm come into my being. I still had my mouth open, I was still in the dentist chair, but I was able to calm and regulate my nervous system in the moment. And it's so important to have these tools and resources to navigate those moments when there is stress, there is tension, and be able to bring some ease and calm back into the moment. So, from breath awareness, we're going to move into chakra meditations, and this is a practice that I frequently guide because this works through the energetic centers of the body, bringing awareness to areas where we may be holding fear, grief, guilt, shame, or emotional stagnation. And for fertility, many women resonate deeply with sacral chakra practices. And so the energetic center associated with creativity and creation and emotional flow, sensuality, and creation and connection. So this really is a way to balance and align your whole being, or if there is an area in which there is an imbalance, you can focus on that chakra or that area to help restore and come back into a balanced state. So we can either be excessive in our chakras or deficient. And so by doing chakra meditations, we come back into a balanced state of being. And so you can move all the way from the root to the crown of the head. And I believe it is simply one of the best meditations that you can do to move forward with intention and integrity into your day. Now, the next one I want to speak about is visualization meditations. The mind already visualizes constantly and usually worst case scenarios. And visualizations redirect that capacity consciously. We imagine healing, light, expansion, safety, possibility, not as magical thinking, but as intentional mental cultivation. And I'm telling you from experience and those that have been going, and I have been supporting them through the IVF journey. Visualization is so important in the days leading up to egg retrieval, to the embryo transfer, to the waiting period. It is a way to consciously co-create with the universe your intentions for what you wish to happen. And it is so powerful. My whole body is lit up right now because I want you to understand that, and you can hold it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. And so this has been shown to me by both myself and my clients. That is a Bob Proctor quote, but it is the truth. And when you come to realize that, that is so transformative for you. And your whole world can really open up when your mind opens up, when you allow yourself to go there, and not in a wishful way, in an intentional way. And the next practice I want to speak about is yoga nidra meditation. So this is one of my favorite practices, and yoga nidra is often translated as yogic sleep, yet the practitioners remain conscious. So the body is resting deeply while awareness remains present. And many women on the fertility journey tell me yoga nidra is the first time that they've ever felt genuine peace in months and sometimes years. It works through the five koshas, the five layers of your being, and 20 minutes of yoga nidra is equivalent to 4 hours of sleep and is simply the best reset that I have come across in almost 10 years. So I love this practice. You cannot do it wrong. Your subconscious mind is going to take whatever is relevant to it in that moment and apply it to the body. And so it is a beautiful practice, and often where I get people to begin, if they are trying meditation for the first time, or if they are severely dysregulated or have had PTSD, this is a great practice to help the body to heal and to be able to return to that state of being that you wish to embody. The next one I want to speak about is a loving kindness meditation. And this can be incredibly healing for women experiencing jealousy or grief, anger, or resentment, especially when others seem to be getting pregnant effortlessly. And rather than judging these emotions, we learn to meet them with compassion. We meet ourselves with compassion. We meet others with compassion. And we can begin to create a state of equilibrium between us and others. And this has a huge impact on not only yourself, but creates a positive ripple effect out into your entire community, town, province, or state and country. It is very, very healing. You can also use mantra meditations. If you have a mala necklace, you can use, most mala necklaces have 108 beads, so you hold it in your right hand, you do the meditation one bead at a time. You can use chanting words such as Om, Satnam, Om Mani Padme Hum, and each time you move the bead through your fingers, you're repeating this. And it allows for that deep inner connection as well. And I think people want to know, how do they know that meditation is actually working? And this is where Patanjali becomes incredibly practical, because people want to know if they're progressing. And often that answer isn't found during meditation, it's found in your life. So you can ask yourself, how quickly do you recover from disappointment? How reactive are you? How attached are you to the outcomes in your life? How much peace do you experience during uncertainty? Can you sit with discomfort without immediately trying to escape it? Can you witness your thoughts without believing every single one? Your life truly does become your measuring stick, not the meditation session itself. Because real meditation shows up in relationships, in setbacks, in waiting, in uncertainty, in the moments that challenge you. And I've noticed this for myself that I have begun to live more meditatively. So instead of reacting, I pause, I assess, and then I respond versus being triggered and reactive. And so it is a practice. We give ourselves grace and compassion, but you will see the positive ripple effects in your life, in all areas of your life, when this becomes a practice for you. And that's just the thing, it's a practice. Some days you're going to feel like 5 minutes has been an hour, and other days it may feel like you have noticed every single second, you have been attached to every single thought, and it may not have left you as peaceful and calm as you would have liked. But you will notice that decrease, that shift internally, even if it perhaps isn't exactly as you thought it should be or want it to be. So be mindful of that as well. And my guru Sankara has many deep questions that he loves to ask. And so I want to just offer these to you so that you can move beyond where you're currently at. So, who are you really? Not your role, not your diagnosis, not your fertility status, not your age, not your achievements. Who are you beneath all of that? Many women unconsciously become identified with the fertility journey. It becomes, I am infertile, I'm broken, I am feeling. And my guru would challenge this completely. These are experiences. They are not your essence. You are awareness itself. Whole before pregnancy, whole during pregnancy, whole without pregnancy. And this teaching can feel confronting, but it can also be profoundly liberating because your worth was never dependent upon an outcome. And so often we are attached to the outcome, and our worth is dependent on whether or not we can conceive, whether we can grow our family. And so this really strips away all of that back to you are whole and complete as you are right here, right now, in this moment. And if you are not embodying that currently, know that you can. And Krishnamurti offers a fascinating perspective that you may not be familiar with. And so I want to share that with you here today. He suggests that much of human suffering comes from psychological time, the constant movement of what happened, what should have happened, what might happen. The mind lives in yesterday and tomorrow, rarely now. Think about fertility. How often are we mentally living 6 months ahead, 1 year ahead, 5 years ahead? Meditation continually returns us to this moment, this breath, this day, this life. Because ultimately, life is only ever happening now. And peace can only ever be found now. I want you to just let that land for a moment. And my mentor, Matasai, often teaches from direct experience rather than theory. His teachings continually point toward simplicity, presence, awareness, love, the return to the heart, not adding more information, not becoming more spiritual, not becoming more perfect, but removing what obscures our true nature. This includes fear, attachment, conditioning, overthinking. Meditation becomes less about acquiring something and more about uncovering what has always been there, a peace that exists beneath the noise. In order to be able to access this peace, we need to be able to include stillness and silence into our day. And how often are we doing that? This is the invitation for you to consciously incorporate this into your life in a way that suits you, that serves you for whichever season you are in right now in this moment. I also truly believe that the fertility journey is a spiritual practice, and that this may be one of the most important things that I share today. What if your fertility journey isn't about simply getting somewhere, and it's not about becoming someone? How can you find more compassion, more resilience, more presence, more awareness? I know many women don't want to hear that while they're hurting, and I understand. But looking back, some of the greatest growth emerged from periods of uncertainty, not because the challenge was easy, but because it invited transformation. And meditation gives us a way to meet that transformation consciously. I feel like fertility is a spiritual journey because your trust is tested, your faith is tested, your connection with yourself is tested, and all of these aspects and pieces are an invitation for you to dive deeper, to face those uncomfortable emotions, to sit with uncertainty, and to be able to embrace it eventually, or in whatever way you can in the moment. And sometimes that's 1%, but eventually it's 5%, and then 30%, and then 50%, and then 75%. And you begin to understand that you are divinely guided and supported always, and the universe is holding you, and nothing is going to miss you that is meant for you. And you can actually believe that and embody that. I have written about the biggest barriers to meditation before because people often tell me that they can't meditate, and my response is always the same. Can you notice a thought? If yes, you can meditate. Can you notice your breath? If yes, you can meditate. Can you observe yourself becoming frustrated? If yes, you can meditate. Meditation is awareness, not perfection. The goal is not to become thoughtless. The goal is to become conscious. And if you've never meditated before, start with 5 minutes, not 30, not 65. Consistency matters more than duration. And if sitting feels overwhelming, you can try a walking meditation. I know for myself, there's a labyrinth that I like to go to, and you're slowly, mindfully walking through this labyrinth, and every step is intentional, every breath is conscious, and you become very alert and aware when you're in nature. You're taking in the smell, your senses are awakened, and so that is also an avenue you can take when sitting at first is not easy for you. Also, using guided meditations. I know for myself, I did that initially at first before I felt like I could guide myself. There reaches a point sometimes where you want to be your own guru. You no longer feel like you need to be guided. You have that within yourself, and you can do that for yourself and know that you're doing it exactly right and as it's meant to be. And that may take time, but it's absolutely possible. But we all have to start somewhere. So just start with where you are and what resonates with you, and find that doorway that feels accessible for you and walk through it. Because over time, something remarkable begins to happen. You become less controlled by your thoughts, less controlled by fear, less controlled by uncertainty, and more rooted in presence, more rooted in peace, more rooted in yourself. Meditation is medicine for the mind, not because it removes every challenge, because it transforms the one experiencing the challenge. The fertility journey may still ask for patience, courage, faith, resilience, but meditation helps you to meet each of these moments with greater awareness. And perhaps that is one of the greatest gifts available to us. Not certainty, not control, but presence. Thank you for spending this time with me today. And if this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who may need this message. And remember, you are not your thoughts, you are not your fears, you are not your diagnosis. You are something far greater. Until next time, may you move through your fertility journey with grace, presence, and trust. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.